that's an excellent segue. See, he's better at this than I am. So, what the differences between the M and the SL? These are two very popular.
We're going to talk about that?
Why not?
Okay.
I think we should.
That's great.
I think we should. We have both of them here. And so let's talk about this. This is one of the things that was suggested to us as a topic to talk about is the differences between rangefinder cameras, or M cameras, which stands for Messuture. I know I'm saying it wrong. And a mirrorless DSLR, like the SL. So DSLR, digital single lens reflex. So we got the digital part, we got the single lens part, but there's no reflex, there's no mirror going up and down. And so basically that's the sensor. Not basically, that is the sensor. And so...
so you never want to use steel wool in there.
Don't clean that with steel wool.
You probably now have to put some sort of disclaimer at the bottom of this just because I said that.
Right. Well, let me say
Some
this right now.
dumbass will do it.
Oh, yeah. And that's probably going to be me. Don't try any of this at home. We are trained professionals. I've never seen that before. I was cleaning a sensor one time, and I had my tools, I have my swab. I was cleaning the sensor, and we have in our showrooms kind of like a loft, and it's kind of dusty sometimes. And I was sitting there very carefully cleaning the sensor and went, "Hachoo!" and sneezed all over this. That was not a happy day. Anyway, so let's talk about the differences. We had a question about the differences between the SL system and the M system, and when it's best to use each. First of all, it kind of doesn't matter all that much, really. I mean, there's nothing that says that this camera is only good for a certain type of photography and this camera isn't. Really, any camera is good for any kind of photography. I think the question is whether or not you want a prime lens or a zoom lens, whether or not you are, shooting a landscape where you want a very wide angle or a very long throw for compression. And it just depends on what you want. So for folks who want autofocus, between these two types of cameras, this would be the choice because the SL camera and its lenses have autofocus. Now they can also be focused manually, but it's an autofocus kind of situation for this. The Leica M cameras, these lenses are always manually focused. And there is a shutter, which you can see it's gray and white inside. It creates 18% gray, white, and black. And it's interchangeable lens. But when I look through, we're actually still open, so people are kind of coming and going. Don't mind.
Live.
That's right. Live from a real camera shop. Ooh, what did I get? Can I cash it? All right, we'll look at that later. So. Not yet, okay. So when you're using an M camera, it's almost all manual. So you have your manual focus, and then you'll be looking just through this little piece of glass here to compose your image and to focus your image, which if you are a right-eyed shooter is very advantageous because you can still see your subject with your left eye. I happen to be a left-eyed shooter, so I hide my face behind the camera, but still the idea is the same, is that you're looking through this little piece of glass, and one of the things that allows you to do as a photographer is to see objects before they actually enter your frame, right? That's exactly right.
You could do that as a left shooter, right?
Oh my God, that's a great idea.
And then you still focus.
That's a great idea. But, can I tell you,
nobody's ever done that, and I just
Nobody
think
ever would.
There are people out there in the Leica community right now, like literally grabbing their
right, they're like, yeah, exactly. So I have actually seen people hold the M camera like this, which I find fascinating.
It's not as stable.
I mean, just not nearly as stable. But anyway, the really big differences between the rangefinder cameras and an SLR or DSLR or mirrorless camera is that with this, you're just looking through a little piece of glass, whereas with this, We have a very high resolution electronic viewfinder with a built-in diopter correction. And it has basically a prism. It's electronic, but it's basically a prism, which is what this hump is for. And so your eye is going right through the lens. So you're looking right through the lens, which means that if you have your lens cap on, everything looks dark and you're not going to be able to take a picture with the lens cap on. Whereas with an M camera,
you can take a lot of pictures with
all
the lens
day
cap.
long. All day long, you can be snapping and taking pictures.
People are laughing at you.
And people are laughing at you. It's terrible. I've been shooting with a Leica M camera for more than 35 years, and I still do it. Actually, I don't do it anymore because I don't keep lens caps on my lenses. I've lost almost every lens cap I've ever owned, so I just put them in a drawer and I put a filter on my lens. We can talk about that also, whether or not you should use a filter on your lens. The answer is yes, you should. Listen to me telling people what to do. You do whatever you want. But
slowly we're going to piss everyone off, because there's such passion out there about this stuff.
Eventually,
right?
I managed to piss everybody off. Look, here's why you put a filter on your lens. So that when you have it on your shoulder and you bump into something, you destroy a filter, not a many thousands of dollars lens. And do you think it's going to harm your photography? Not unless you're shooting at night and you have a hot light in frame. It can create reflection on the sensor, but it's really rare.
That's the great thing about the filter is you can take it off in that situation.
Yeah, then you could just take it off. So in fact, here in the showroom, we have a couple of filters from a local shooter, and Greg will bring us all the filters that he's bashed up and destroyed, because he brings, like me and like us sometimes, we bring our cameras into kind of inclement environments, and sometimes, the babies take a little knock, and so, but he had his camera hit with fireworks, and
I've seen that.
Yeah, and it destroyed the filter, not the $8,000 lens. So, or $500 lens. It's not about expensive stuff. It's about keeping your gear in good shape.
And I think that the best thing that they've done recently is make that rear button alignment the same as the M. So if you have an SL2, you're using the same camera essentially.
Right. What Keith is talking about is the button, the arrangement of the buttons on the back of the camera, and Leica has moved towards having the M style of the buttons.
The first one had more like the S style.
Yeah, right? It has these 4 buttons that are unmarked. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think that makes a difference too. This, even though this is the previous model, as we've said before, this is the SL, not the SL2 or SL2S. It's a full-featured camera. So when you're using a Leica SL lens, you have autofocus and there are zooms. But Keith just mentioned putting an M lens on the SL. And so here we have a 75 Summilux, which is a pretty fast little lens. This was designed by the famous Walter Mandler, who was a Leica lens designer back in the day. This is supposedly his favorite lens.
WM.
WM. What would Mandler do?
I don't know.
Right, that's the good question.
Yeah.
Here's the adapter that will bring you from the Leica M mount to the larger L mount. And so we'll pop this adapter on and we'll get it on our SL camera. And as I showed you last time, the last episode, it's actually a pretty well balanced system. Like, it's not all that much bigger or smaller than some of the other SL primes. Because you have the electronic viewfinder with diopter correction, you can focus this and really hit it perfectly. What would you use an M camera for compared to an SL camera for? Well, there's a few different things. Street photographers like the M cameras because, as I mentioned, you can see things coming into frame. Also, they're very, very small, they're very light, and they're very robust. And also, when you're walking around on the street, well, maybe not with this one, but with a film like a camera, people look at you and they're like, oh, look at that guy using a crummy old camera. What a shame. And they have no idea what they are. The other 15% of Leica users will come up to you with a little drool frothing at the mouth and going, what model is that?
There's another Leica user if they're kind of following you for more than a block.
Yeah, totally.
Like looking at you.
Do you remember we were in Havana one time, and there was a guy with a silver M6 and a 35 Summicron, and he was traveling alone, it seemed, and he had his camera around his neck, and he was taking some pictures, and Keith and I were strolling by, and we were like, look, guy's got a Leica. Because we're that 15%,
right.
You know, we're like rabid Leica fans. And so you see somebody else in the street with a Leica, and we're like, oh man, you know, we want to talk to him. And so, but he wasn't having any of that. Because I don't know if he thought we were going to take his camera or we were going to ruin the moment, which I'm sure we did anyway.
No doubt.
Right. So, we basically just waved hello, and we're like, hey, nice camera.
Another Havana story was another guy with an M6 who ran out of film.
So sad.
No film.
Oh.
Couldn't buy film in Havana.
No, there's no film.
So.
Oh man, my heart was broken. You guys saw him. We were actually separate.
So if you have a film camera, you need to have film.
Just like with a digital, you need extra cards and maybe extra battery. You got to have extra film.
This is like photography, advanced photography.
Right.
You have to have film.
You need to have film.
And batteries.
Well, and there have been times when I've taken a picture of somebody and they're like, did you just take a picture of me, man? Yeah, dude, I did take a picture of you. Let me see, you got to delete it. What do you want to see, guy?
Don't worry, sir. I don't get any of my film developed. It's in a drawer.
Right, exactly. Well, usually what I say to people is I'm not very adversarial. Usually I say to them, yeah, you know, I think I did get you in frame, but you're not the main subject, but also you look fabulous. And usually people are like, okay. So what happened, sometimes, one of the reasons that people, let me put an autofocus lens back on this. So, because one of the is this in frame?
Can we have some lens changing music, please?
Yeah, lens changing. What would that be? Motorhead, maybe. So one of the reasons that you might want to use an SL system is for the autofocus on the lenses. So if you have subjects that are moving very fast, or like me, you wear glasses or nighttime, and you really want to have the speed of autofocus, or you want to have a zoom lens, or maybe you're a bigger guy or gal or person, you have big hands, and you like to have something that feels a little more sure in the hand than the smaller M. So those are some of the reasons that people would use the SL system over the M system. From an imaging standpoint, it makes no difference. It makes no difference from an imaging standpoint because it all depends on the lens that you're using. And I tell people this all the time. If you put a Leica lens on a shoebox, you get a Leica image. If you put a piece of shit lens on a Leica camera, you get a piece of shit image. And optics make the image. And so don't let anybody tell you have to have the latest and greatest camera body. Optics, you want optics. And you can ask people like Barney and like Renata and like Terrell and Maddie and ask them what kind of gear they use. Well, they might not want to talk about it, but if they do, you'll find that almost certainly they're not using the latest and greatest stuff. They're using stuff that they like, that they can afford, that they want, that they like the look of. So don't let anybody tell you got to get the latest and greatest. It's bullshit. That's
I have a lot of pet peeves, but one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to photography are people who force their will upon you and tell you what is the best thing to use. You should use whatever you like to use.
It's what's right for you. I want to show you something else you can do with vintage lenses, and this is true of M digital, M film, and SL, and TL, and CL. Is very early Leica lenses were screw mount lenses, and they would thread into the camera body. And Leica made for many years a little adapter that's basically a very sharp machine piece of metal that fits on the back of your Leica lens and allows you to mount a thread mount or screw mount or LTM lens onto your Leica camera. And so now, just like I could use any 50mm lens, I can pop it on there, I can collapse it, which is kind of cool. And then, yeah, and you can kind of mix and match. You can do almost anything you want with these adapters. And so really, like Keith was saying, you know, what's right for us, what's right for me might not be right for him. Thank you. What's right for, you know, one person might not be right for another. So there's no right and wrong. It's what's right for you. Thanks, buddy. You see the red dot? Yeah, and it just, voila. And that's it. And that's ready to roll, baby. That's like, 1940 to 2018 technology or 2019 technology. So really, there's no end to what you can do with the SL system, whether it's the SL or SL2 or SL2S. And so there's really a great deal of versatility. And so I would highly recommend the SL system, especially for its versatility. I am an dyed-in-the-wool M shooter because I like the camera, I like the form factor, it's an object to art, and as long as my old eyes are still able to focus these lenses, I'm going to continue to use this camera because both of these styles of camera, the film and the digital, because it just gives me a lot of joy to use them.
It's an object of art.
It is. It really is. I mean,
They're all laughing at that.
Beautifully
you know that,
designed.
Right? The in-studio audience is all laughing at that.
Yeah, well, she laughs at most of my jokes.
He said it correctly.
What did I not say right?
I like the way you say object to art.
Oh, that's French, isn't it? What? Will you say it?
No, you said it right. It sounds just the way it should sound when you say it. Because that's what that camera is for you.
Boy.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
It was brilliant. You're brilliant. It's brilliant. Also, I didn't mention anything about the French. As soon as you said it, Keith's face is the one that decided to have a funny about it. Yeah, it was all you, Spiro.
You see what I put up with?
There we go.
All right, I can't work like
this is the only Leica talk show where you have an SL with some old screw lens.
That's right. Well, I'd like to point out this is also probably the only Leica talk show that doesn't have any talk show guests yet.
Oh.
I know. We're gonna get some people in here.
We should get someone who speaks French.
That would be great. Maybe I'll learn something. All right. Okay.
If I bang this back into here, is it gonna bust up the sensor?
Hey, good question. This is a teachable moment. You want it? Here's how to find out. I'm going to turn the camera off first. Here's how to find. Is this in frame? Here's how to find out. I don't want to try it because I don't want to ruin the sensor. This is my buddy Rick's camera. It's for sale here at Tamarkin Camera. Leicaman. I got your
Hi, Rick.
your SL in the video here, so you're famous now. Somebody buy Rick's SL. It's a terrific camera.
It's in great shape.
It is, isn't it? It's in great shape. So let's collapse this sucker and see what happens. So that's the collapsed lens. I'm eyeballing this, but really I want my calipers and I want to actually measure. You see, it's kind of close.
Tight.
It's kind of tight, so I wouldn't try it. Anybody who has a question about their specific Leica collapsible lens and collapsing it on the Leica adapter in any of these cameras, SL, TL, or CL, please don't try this shit at home. Send me an email, tell me what you have, and let me test it out for you, because I don't want you to ruin your sensor just because you're experimenting. Let me experiment for you. That's what we're here for. On that note,
Two smartasses and a camera.
two smartasses and a camera.
You guys made it to an hour this time.
Rather
time
be
we
a
made it to an
smartass
hour.
than a dumbass. We're at an hour?
Yeah, we're at an hour.
An hour.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. We're over.
Holy crap.
So here's what we're gonna do.
Wow.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to cut this up because I said some stupid shit, and so we're gonna cut it up. But
all this stuff about Rick's going to have to come out.
Yeah, he'll sue my ass. No, Rick's the Leica man. We call each other Leica man. He's a great guy. He's down in Florida. He's a great guy. I didn't mention him on photographers I follow because I don't want to seem like I'm pandering. You know, some of these people are my customers and some are not. Anyway, so thank you for watching. Keep an eye out in the comments for instructions on how to win stuff. Everybody's a winner. We got a lot of stuff to give away. We really do.
If you've invested an hour in this discussion, you're a winner. Like you're already a winner.
You're already so far ahead of the game.
You need to clip that out when we both said you're already a winner. That needs to be like an advertisement for it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it should be.
You're already a winner.
So, yeah, you like that? Okay. So thank you once again.
Don't be bored by all those Leica shows that are trying to copy what we're doing. Don't be bored by
It's
that.
beer time.
Oh.
Beer me, baby.
Jesus. Take a hint. No, I'm serious. You know, don't be bored by all those what do they call them? They're
Non sequiturs?
no. They're lookalikes. They're
The imposters.
the imposters. The imposter. Don't be fooled by the imposters.
Don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled
So this
by the
is-
imposters.
Don't be fooled. The person I've been with is my partner, Susan, and she's used to this shit. So please don't think that I treat all my people so terribly.
It's just the girlfriend.
It's just.
You gotta read that. None of that. Cut all that.
Oh, come on.
Thank you, Susan. You do a great job. I've been busting her ball.
That's better.
Nope.
See, that's not good either.
You're gonna. This is.
Messing with.
The person I've been razzing is our producer, Susan, who's also my partner, and I razz her all the time. It's all I ever do, so she's used to it by now.
And the French specialist.
That's why I asked so rudely for the beer, because I forgot to give her direction that right when we're about to end the Barnack hour, we're gonna crack a beer.
Here's the question: why don't we start with the beer? Would the hour be better?
No.
Let's do that. We'll do that next time. No.
You could accidentally spill beer on the cameras. Don't.
I don't want. Whoa, Rick's SL.
That's why I always put my lenses face down so that when I spill a beer, it gets on the filter.
As a producer, I'm going to say no liquid on the table during the filming. Liquid after the filming.
As the talent, I'm going to say balls to that. I'll need beer.
Is there anything that actually ends this
We're just
except for the cheers? What ends this?
You can say "Abiento."
I don't think.
What do you? How do you say it?
So I'll see you later.
In what?
French.
Say it again.
Abiento.
Aviento.
Like you would say au revoir, but that's
Au revoir.
goodbye, but
That's what I-
later is
I'm not going to try
Any
of this.
complaints? Let's do this straight to camera. Any complaints about
You're
this
gonna complain about
hour?
my French too. I'm not
Call
French.
1-800-BUY-LEICA.
Ask for Ernie. He's gonna kill me. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'm so glad to have you here in our little photographic living room, and so glad that you're sticking with us. Thank you, folks, for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing and commenting and doing the little ding-a-ling notification bell thing so that every time we put out some more stuff, you'll get notified. And then if you want to listen to us, but you don't want to see our mugs, you know, it's a podcast, too, on Simplecast. So you could do that, too. You can listen to us in the car, and you can listen to us from afar, and you can listen to us
Here
wherever
and there.
you are.
You can listen to us anywhere, really.
That's right. Thanks for watching. Happy shooting. Go out and take some pictures.
Where's Dr. Seuss up there at the end?
You like that?